Most people have spices in the kitchen that are doing more for the metabolism than half of the supplements sold online. And no, this is not a wellness hype, folks. These are effects seen in real human clinical studies. Most people think that spices just make food taste better, but some of these compounds have measurable effects on blood sugar, inflammation, blood pressure, and cholesterol in your body. So let me break down what science actually says and what's probably overhyped online. First one is cinnamon. It's one of the most studied spices for blood glucose control. In studies involving people with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, cinnamon has helped reduce blood glucose spikes after meals. Some studies also showed lower fasting blood sugar, small improvements with long-term blood glucose levels, and modest cholesterol improvements. That's amazing, right? But here's the most important detail that people miss. The common cheap version, cassia cinnamon, contains more coumarin, which in high amounts may stress your liver. So you better choose the other one called the Ceylon cinnamon. That's generally safer for long term. So no, cinnamon is not a miracle cure, but the metabolic support you get with cinnamon is genuinely interesting. That's my take on that. That's just not my take on that, the science, folks. Now, the second spice is turmeric, and this one has huge amount of research behind it. Across multiple clinical trials, curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, had shown to lower inflammation. This can be documented by inflammatory markers like decreased CRP, decreased tumor necrosis factor, interleukins, and so on. These are the same inflammatory markers that is often seen in conditions like heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and chronic inflammation. Some studies also showed that there are improvements in blood sugar, insulin resistance, and oxidative stress if you take curcumin. But there's one major catch. Curcumin has poor absorption. That's why pairing turmeric with black pepper matters. Black peppers contains piperine, which dramatically improves curcumin absorption, meaning your body can actually use more of it. Now, let's go to the third one. The third and the most beneficial one that we use at home every day is garlic. It has one of the most strongest cardiovascular data among all spices. In multiple clinical trials, especially in people with high blood pressure, garlic supplementation showed that it can reduce the systolic blood pressure by around 5 to 10 points. That's clinically meaningful, folks. Some studies report that if you take garlic, you can even lower your LDL cholesterol, lower your blood fat levels, and we have seen that there's slight improvement in blood glucose control over time. And the aged garlic extract that really helps. But I would really want to caution the folks. Garlic can mildly thin your blood. So if you are on blood thinners or preparing for surgery, that really matters. So you got to be very cautious on that though. Now, let's talk about ginger. That's one of my to-go drink, ginger tea in the mornings. Probably it's one of the most practical spices too on this list. It has strong evidence for reducing nausea, especially during pregnancy. That's why many medical guidelines actually mention it. But ginger also has many other benefits. It helps with inflammation, blood glucose control, and it's likely due to the compound called gingerols and shorgols. So ginger affects multiple systems at once: your gut, your joints, and your metabolism. Now, let's jump to the last spice we're going to talk about today, cumin. This one gets overlooked a lot, but clinical trials have shown improvements in fasting blood sugar and also long-term blood sugar levels. They also shown good amount of reduction of cholesterol and blood fat levels, and even some small reductions in weight and the waist size. So what are you waiting for? This small spice has surprisingly solid data. I would add a very important note here though. None of these replace medications, sleep, exercise, and overall good nutrition. And yes, some internet claims around spices are definitely exaggerated. And that doesn't mean that science is fake. The real takeaway is this: your health is often shaped by small things you do, but you gotta do it repeatedly. And spices are one of those small inputs most people completely ignore. If we use it consistently, these spices will surely help, not because they are magic pill, because your biology responds to small repeated behavior over time. Small habits, folks, done daily really makes a difference. That's what creates long-term health change, and that's all that matters. And yeah, we got to remember that longevity does not come just in one click. It's not just one click away, folks. With longevity, we really need to work hard. And I really want to tell you, these five spices are really helpful. Hopefully, you can add them to your pantry from today and see if you can introduce them to your diet. If you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and follow eHealthyinfo for more facts like this. We got you.